About Parshas Matos. We have the story of Pinchas. Starts with Bilam. That Bilam gave an advice to Balak how to hurt the Jewish people. He says, bring your daughters and seduce the children of Israel to do Gilui Arayos, Avodah Zarah, and Hashem will be angry and will hurt them. And he succeeded, partially. And Pinchas went and he stopped it. He killed Kosbi Batzur. And Hashem told Moshe Rabbeinu, go ahead and take revenge from the Midianites. But in between, the Torah speaks about all the korbanos of the holidays of the Jewish people. We call this the cycle of the year. He says, listen, you're going to die. So he took care of the inheritance, how inheritance and Israel is going to come, who's going to be the next leader, the korbanos, and then it talks about Parshas Nedorim. The question is, and then only in the end of it, Hashem says, okay, go get rid of the Midianites. So the question is, why this in the middle of the midst of all that, this Parsha of Matos, which talks about vows, a woman, a girl makes vows, the husband, the father can nullify it, etc. What all this is connected to the fact that Hashem tells Moshe Rabbeinu, we have to get rid of the Midianites and then after you're going to die. So there is a perush here of Rabbeinu Bechaye. He brings a pasuk, Yero es Hashem beni v'melech im shoinim al titara. Means first fear my son, first fear Hashem, and then fear kings. Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah, they told Nebuchadnezzar in Daniel 3, verse 15, they told him, this, you're king. So reference to things which has to do with paying taxes, things like that. We have to listen to you, have to give the power of a king. Elakach omuloi. At malko alono b'misim v'gulgolios. You are king on us on taxes and skull taxes. Aval oldeno she'ato imer lonu la'avod avodah zorah, for that thing that you tell us to worship idols. Nebuchadnezzar, Yon Nebuchadnezzar, v'lav malko at, you're not a king. Ve'at v'kalba shavin, you and a dog are equal. Yes. Which means we are not permitted to come against the oath we have with Hashem. And on Sinai, that we promise Hashem not to worship Avodah Zarah. Took an oath. We can't listen to him. So which means part of Yiras Hashem is not to fear a king, fear the king of the king. Yereh es Hashem beni v'melech. When you want to fear a king, first fear Hashem. Remember, there's Hashem above the king. And anything which the king crosses against Hashem, you have to fear Hashem. So Hashem says, get rid of the Midianites. Yes. But fear Hashem. Fear Hashem, which is above kings. And Shvuah, be careful of oath, is from the Geder Hayira, from the rules of fearing Hashem. You're not allowed to take an oath even on truth. The Gemara says a story that Rabbi Yana had 2,000 towns in Har HaMelech, and all of them got destroyed, even on true oath, on Shavuos Emes. But Fadvar Mitzvah you're allowed. When somebody gets married in the Ksuva, the Sephardim have an oath, Kiyas Kaf. He's not going to marry another wife and fulfill the Ksuba. So Rabbi Ovadia Yosef says, although it says a person should not swear even on truth, Talmid Chacham should not swear even on truth, but the Dvar Mitzvah you're allowed. To strengthen Mitzvah you're allowed. The Gemara Masechet Nedolim says, if somebody gets up in the morning and he says, a vow that I'm going to finish a Masechta, he pushes himself. Neder Godol Nodal Eloi Ki Yisrael, a big vow he vowed for the Gag of Hashem. For Hashem. To push yourself, Nidre Ziruzin, to push yourself with Hashem, with a vow, Dvar Mitzvah, to push yourself to do Hashem's will, it's okay. But it's time to make a Shavuot, you have to fear, you might not keep it and you go against Hashem. What does Shavuot means? Shavuot means you're taking Hashem's name, he said, the same way Hashem is truth, my word will be truth. And you don't keep yourself as if Hashem, you don't keep your word as if Hashem's truth is not true. The Goy Vilna says, on the one thing you'll have to beat up your child. A person should not hurt his kids. Kids don't listen, they do stupid things, you don't give them a slap, you don't touch them. You just warn them, you speak to them. You don't give them a slap. Or a patch, whatever it's called. And the one thing you're allowed to give them, patch, and you should. What is it, Yosef? If they say lies. Why? You have to teach your children that Hashem is true. And Sheker is in opposition to Emes, and Emes is the most important midah that your house stands on. Since you believe in Hashem, you push in your house the concept of Hashem, Torah and mitzvahs, right? And Hashem is truth. And whatever you tell you truth about Hashem is true. So for them to understand the midah of truth, that's a fundamental of your house. There's one thing you're allowed to give them a patch if they lie. They don't say truth. Why? Because you want to express in their hearts the importance of truth. Hashem is emes, His words is emes. Shavuot Sheker is against Hashem. It's the worst Aveda from all Avedas. That's just an Aseres Adibois. Be very careful. This is the Pshat of Rabbeinu Bechai. But my Rebbe, bless his memory, one of my Rebbes, Reb Shlomo Sha'anan, he said a different story, which is very important. I want to explain what he said. He says no. He's saying it wasn't only because Shavuot, it's above fearing from kings. It's above fear of kings. It's above all. It's not Yeres Hashem B'ni V'melech. It's more than that. The goal of Bilam was to destroy the family, the Jewish family. Matoivo Alecho Yaakov, he saw the Jewish family is strong. You know, they say in America, when I was a young boy, I lived in America, and they used to say that a lot of Italians, or a lot of Jews marry Italian girls. In New York, right? Why? Because they want to say the Jewish people and Italians are the same in that aspect of family, familia. Family. But their familia is mafia. We have familia is worshiping Hashem. Helping you worship Hashem. Who knows? Shem Yishmor, Rachmana litzlan. But they saw that value, that quality of Jewish people as familia. Family. But our family is very strong and we very tzanua. It says the angel of poorness is called mi'us. It's called disgusting. When a house is disgusting and not clean, you have poverty. When everything is clean, you have wealth. The Yerushalmis, my father used to say, they lived in a one room and a half. They had a very easy life, even though a hard life. They don't know much money years ago, 5 generations or 10 generations in Yerushalayim. but they kept themselves very clean. So comes my Rebbe and he says that Bilam wanted to destroy the atomic grain of the Jewish family. The grain of the Jewish family. The internal grain, strength of grain of the Jewish family. And what did he do? He brought all those women to seduce the young men of the Jewish people. So what Hashem told Moshe Rabbeinu? No. I will show you what is the Jewish people. When a woman, a girl takes a vow, who's in charge to remove the vow? The father, the husband, which means a Jewish girl, she's been held birshus in the domain of a husband or father, etc. There's no freedom, no empty. Not only that, we can add that it's a kula, like Rabbeinu Bechaya says. It's a kula, it's a leniency. That you don't need a beis din. Hashem gave us a leniency. You don't need a beis din to nullify vows. Even internally, the father, the husband can help. You don't need a beis din of mumchim or professionals. Even a single person, a husband, father, can nullify it and you leave it in the family. And what things the husband can nullify? Things which no get there. Chaya nefesh, vows are no get in the relationship. So the Torah goes on to explain the dynamic of the family grain in the Jewish family, of keeping words and permitting or nullifying, prohibiting or nullifying words in the relationship of a husband and a wife. So under what rights the husband have or the father have rights to nullify vows? Because in their domain and it hurts them as part of their relationship. Chaya nefesh, things which is no get to the husband, things not no get to the husband, you cannot nullify. So the reason why in the midst of all the story of getting rid of the Midianites, we have the story of the vow, is to show the power and to give the leniency of the Jewish family. This is really what's going on here. Eila Amatois. He calls up all the Rosh Amatois. Vaydaber Moshe Rosh Amatois. Very strange. He didn't speak to Jewish people. First he spoke to the heads. That they should speak to the children of Israel. As she goes on, he gave honor to the presidents and then to the Jewish people. Different here than anywhere else. Why? Because he wants to teach us that this is the beauty of our Jewish family, the grain family. You know, we used to have the quarantine and Corona, so people only are allowed to be around the grain family, in the grain, garini, mishpacha garini, which is father, mother, sisters, only you can be together, right? The grain. Garin. This starts to show you the power of our grain and the relationship in the family, in the grain family. This is the power of our family. And when we're in our family, we keep our words, and our words are value. We keep value to our words, we say Hashem's name. When we put next to our words, Hashem is truth, we have to keep His words as truth. It can be nullified if it hurts others. And who can nullify it? Even single person, even family member, grain family member that cares for you, and he takes care of your domain, you in his domain, in his ruling for your benefit. This is part of the beauty of the Jewish people. I saw the Pillai Yoetz writes down, I'll finish with this. He says, the Pillai Yoetz lived in Romania. And he says, Bulgaria is today, those days was in Romania. So, it's in the border, those days were Romania. But it doesn't matter, it's not important. Okay, it doesn't matter. The point is that he lived in Edom countries. And he says, if you go in European countries, you go to the city, there's beautiful markets, which means the trade is very strong. In Europe, 200 200 years ago, the trade was very strong, the best in the world, which means you can get anything you want. Like the Romans said to Hashem in the end of days, we'll say, Hashem, we created markets, give us reward. And Rashi says, what's great about markets? That a Talmid Chacham can get what he wants easy. Because there's trade. So comes the Pele Yosh and he says, I live in Edom's cities and countries that there's a lot of markets and it's very easy to live. You get anything you want. There's big trade. But there's a very big downside. That the Edomites women, they don't dress properly. They have a lot of kalus roish, light-headed, and there's a lot of znus in the Edomite cities. He says, I give you advice. It's better to go to Turkey and other Arab Muslim countries, which they don't have such big markets, they don't have such big trading, but the people, the women are very modest. And a lot later, they dress properly and they don't have light-headed, so therefore it's easier, it's better to train your family and yourself in such areas. You get affected. So it's not only mishpacha garinit, the family grain. The Jewish people live different. They don't have a door against another door. When we have a market, proper Jewish market, women are covered. They don't go half naked. They dress properly. Now we enter in the summer. In 2 weeks, we're going to have a break of 3 weeks of the summer. Ben Asmani, families, rabbis go to families. If they give you family, those who have families, they give themselves. Want to ask something?
No. I just want to say, Balahar for Shulchan Epstein used to see a train coming. He used to say, "There goes the Sutton," because you had no idea back then the train, that's how the scholar came to Eastern Europe.
Right. But here I'm saying the reason. So now we're entering the winter, summer. Women are not dressed properly so much. You have to be extra careful on your eyes and your thoughts. If you get married, Bezrat Hashem, one woman, modest woman, and that's it. So you have to keep yourself in Besmedesh or keep yourself in a proper position. But this is the point. The point is that even the Goyim understood that we have the power of familia. Even Bilam says, that's what made him, brought him Ruach HaKodesh when he saw the tents of the Jewish people, the modesty that we have internal in our house and our homes. How we relate, how we act. And we have to keep it like that. We have to keep it and make sure to work on it, that our Kedusha internally is there. And when there's a Mokim Kodosh, clean, holy, the Shekhinah is there. And wealth is there. And happiness is there. Only an abundant Shefa is there. Hashem should give us a bracha to succeed, to pass through this summer in a proper way. And really keep ourselves with Kedusha and Tahara internally and externally.
La